We're excited to have each of you listen to this recording today to discuss things your teen wants you to know about deployments. We will be providing you with research and strategies about how to talk with your teen about deployments and how to help them manage their stressors throughout a deployment. We will also talk about the impact of deployments on their mental health and discover that how you as the stay-at-home parent manage a deployment will greatly impact your teen's mental health. Please have a paper and pen ready so that you can pause the recording at regular intervals to answer the questions that we will be asking throughout. Please contact me if you would like us to send you additional resources, such as a PowerPoint presentation and links to the resources that we have referenced. My name is Sampson Roach. I'm a family wellbeing counselor at the Halifax and Region MFRC. I've been a social worker for the past 20 years, and I'm very passionate about what I do. I have a degree in child studies and social work. I have worked with at-risk youth and their families for 15 years, and for the past 13 years, I've worked with military families either individually, as a couple, and as a family. Grab a pen and paper and pause the recording to answer these two questions. What are your strengths as a military parent? What strengths do military teens have? It's important to remember that every parent and teen have several strengths, which can be drawn upon to help your family cope during a deployment, both as individuals and together as a family. Lengthy and sometimes frequent deployments can take an emotional toll on military teens and mental health. Teens find the lifestyle hard and they miss their deployed parent. Some teens feel like no one really understands how they feel during a deployment. Teens may feel sad, mad, experience a sense of denial having a parent deployed, stressed, anxious, and lose their sense of belonging. Adjusting to a deployment is not easy, and it may cause some teens to become aggressive and act out in anger with their behavior and words. Teens may also show signs of regressive behaviors and resort back to behaviors of a younger child, such as whining, temper tantrums, or clinging to the at-home parent. Teens may also act like they don't care that a parent is deployed. Other teens may have a positive experience and adjust to the deployment quite well. They may also be able to express their thoughts and feelings with the parent at home. To support your teen during the deployment, it's important for you to have daily check-ins with your teen, actively listen to what they have to say, validate their feelings about the deployment. It is also important for you to plan regular contacts with a deployed parent, such as text messages, FaceTime, prepare parcels together, phone calls, and emails. Finally, it is also important for you to recognize that outside supports can help your teen. Their teachers and coaches may not know that you're a military family and the impact deployments can have on your teen. I would encourage you to talk to teachers and coaches and advocate for your teen prior to deployments and ask what they can do to support your teen during this time. On the last slide, we gave you some insight into how teens feel about deployment. Now please pause the recording and answer the following question on your paper. How do you think your teen feels about deployments? So how does your teen feel about deployment? Are they talking about it? Are they talking about their thoughts and feelings? What is their behavior telling you? What are you noticing about your teen? Are you concerned about their mental health? We have found that parents do know their teens the best and how they are feeling about having a parent deployed. As we have just learned, your teen will experience a range of emotions throughout a deployment that can either manage or not manage. Deployments are hard for the whole family, and every member of the family will experience their emotions throughout the cycle of deployment. For you as the stay-at-home parent, it will be important for you to help teens refocus their thinking to see deployments as an opportunity for personal growth, to learn new strategies to manage your stressors and emotions during the deployment, and reestablish family relationships. Through these opportunities, teens may become more confident, independent, sensitive, compassionate, trustworthy, and optimistic about living the military lifestyle. It's critical that the family manages a deployment together. This can be done in the pre-deployment phase with the member. Families can openly discuss the length of the deployment, the needs of the family, and how these needs will be met. This is a great way for the teen to express their thoughts and feelings about the deployment and how both parents can plan to have these needs met prior to the deployment. In a 2018 research study conducted by the Canadian Pediatric Society on Canadian military families, they found that youth's behavioral responses and emotional state during a deployment is closely linked to the well-being and mental health of the parent at home. So in other words, if you're looking after your own mental health and using positive strategies to cope with the deployment, so will your teen. It's also important to note that no two people will respond to a deployment in the same way. People's ability to cope depends on things like their age, gender, maturity, relationship to the deployed parent, and relationship to the parent at home. We will read this slide together, and then I will ask you to pause the recording to write down which strategy are you already using with your teen. Top 10 strategies for teens during a deployment. We will encourage conversations, validate and normalize their feelings, be a great listener, encourage creative expression, set up daily routines, connect with other military, check out the Halifax and Region MFRC programs, encourage regular contact with a deployed parent. Just let your teen be a teen. Encourage social media free time and help your teen to develop a self-care plan. On this slide is a tool called the Mental Health Continuum. The Mental Health Continuum is a tool to help you understand your mental health and to be able to check in with your own mental health and that of your teen at any time, whether you are experiencing a deployment or not. The continuum is full of colors. The green section means that you are healthy and practicing good mental health strategies. You won't stay in the green very long. As we experience daily stressors, we will move to the yellow section, which is okay, but we don't want to linger in the yellow for any length of time. The orange and red sections of the continuum indicate that you may require some community supports to help you manage your mental health and also learn some coping strategies to function daily so you can get back to the green. Now, I want to invite each of you to pause the recording and indicate where you are on the continuum right now and what that looks like for you. Also, answer the following question. What can you do daily to model staying in the green to achieve positive mental health? If you're finding yourself in the orange or the red, please reach out to the MFRC for supports. Although teens prefer to use social media to communicate with others, it is important to get FaceTime with your teen to encourage them to talk about their thoughts and feelings, specifically while they have a parent deployed. This may not be an easy task, but there are some communication skills that you can use to let your teen know that you want to hear what they have to say. One of these skills is called active listening. Active listening is an important skill to use with your teen to connect with them. When you actively listen to someone, you not only listen with your ears, but you use your body language and facial features to let your teen know you are present, they have your full attention, and you want to hear everything that they have to say. To actively listen, you will need to set up the environment in a safe space that your teen will feel comfortable in. For most teens, they do not like direct eye contact, so maybe taking them for a drive in the car or get them to help you prepare a meal for the family. You know your teen the best. So once you set up the safe space, you want to use a soft tone of voice to let your teen know you are open to hearing what they have to say and to encourage your teen to talk with you. You also want your facial features to show that you care about them by looking at them a few times, and your body language must be open and calm. If you're sitting with your teen or in close proximity, you want to lean into them a little bit so they have your full attention. Pause the recording and write down an example of how you used this skill and how it went for you. Here's another communication skill I call I statements. I statements are another tool used to communicate your point of view. If used properly, I statements can decrease the other person's defensiveness and will increase healthy communication between you and your teen. It is essential to encourage your teen to express their thoughts and feelings throughout the deployment. I statements will allow teens to take responsibility for their thoughts and feelings and show them how easy it can be to state how they're feeling to a very supportive parent. I have 2 examples of I statements on the slide. Feel free to try to use I statements to communicate with your teen. On this slide, I've summed up 7 key points that we have discussed throughout the presentation and how to support your teen throughout a deployment. Please pause the recording to write down the strategy that speaks to you. On this slide, you will see a list of supports and services available to you and your family and to your teen throughout the deployment. Please take a screenshot so that you have this information readily available to access for support. As we draw to a close, please answer the following 2 questions. Number 1, what ideas, research, resources, or strategies did you find helpful? And number 2, what strategies are you willing to try? I hope that you found this information informative and very helpful to you and your teen. Please email me your thoughts and any questions you have for further supports. My door is always open, and I'm always looking forward to work with military families. Thank you very much for listening.